Welcome to channel AMEC, your insight to the Australian visa system. Good day everyone, my name is Cao Yang, your online YouTube visa consultant. Now in today's video, I would like to discuss about how international students' life is like in Adelaide, South Australia. Now before we start, why don't you consider to subscribe to my channel, so once we have all the updates and news, you'll be the first one getting all the insight. Okay, now obviously we are going through a very difficult time of the humanity. However, my channel will not stop promoting how life and study abroad is like in Australia. So today I would like to take this opportunity to actually get you to Adelaide. Now, obviously from my previous approach, I don't want to go through a lot of sightseeing and beautiful photo and videos. Rather than doing that, I'd like to take a different approach by going into actual the Google Maps, so actually showing where Adelaide is and talk about my personal experiences and how the living costs and the study environment is going to be like in Adelaide. So Adelaide is a very beautiful city. It's located in the state of South Australia, where you can see it's actually, you don't see it's actually a south, and you see a big harbor type of stuff, but it's actually at the bottom of Australia. So you can see that. Now South Australia is it's considered to be a very important area of Australia, because it actually connects, if you see here, it actually connects to Western Australia from the west side, connects to Northern Territory, and connects to Queensland, and connects to New South Wales, and also connect to Victoria. The only places that it doesn't have a direct connections geographically is ACT and Tasmania. So it's actually considered to be a very important state. But the only disadvantage of the geopolitical issue is that it's far from connecting to anywhere around the world. But today I'd like to discuss how this state could actually benefit you, and what is it like to actually living and study in South Australia. So let's just zoom in there to Adelaide. So Adelaide, it's a small city. The population is not as vast as Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane. Now it's much bigger than Canberra for sure. It does have more variety of stuff to access to, because they got beach line, they got mountains, forests, a lot of vineyards, a lot of recreation stuff that you can actually do here. The first experience that I have in Adelaide is when I landed at the airport. Where's the airport? Airport is where is it? It's here. Okay, when you land in the airport, although it's a domestic flight, the only experience that I had was you have to dispose all of the food, that including fruits, whatever, that you had taken from different states. Even a domestic flight, people who experience that in international flight, but you probably won't have that kind of experience. But for example, you have an apple you taken from Brisbane or Gold Coast, and you fly into Sydney or Melbourne, they won't ask you to dispose those items. But in Adelaide, it's very strict. Now the history of Adelaide is obviously it's all about all the red wines and vineyards. The reason they have so much, the popularity of Australian wine obviously is boom from Adelaide and South Australia. So because of these produce and productions of these, they need to protect the environment there. So whatever you actually bring in from different state, different city into Adelaide, you need to trash them and put them into the bin. So that's the first experience that I had when I landed at the Adelaide airport. Now the city is considerably airport's that right here, not up the top. Okay, right here. Okay, now the city is considerably very small in a way, but as you can see, it's interestingly it's surrounded by all the gardens, and that's where the beauty is. When you live in Adelaide, you actually access to a lot of gardens and things like that. That a very different city structure compared to all the other cities in Australia. You don't see this kind of city uh, anywhere in Australia. I'm not too sure other cities around the world, but I haven't seen any other city built like this. So obviously, there's the river goes along. Um, it goes along the city, and there's a memorial hall and things. I think that's Torrent River, if I'm not wrong. And let's check out the university. So there's actually a little university called Torrent University. I'm not too sure if you heard of Torrent University. So that's right there, as I have clicked at it. It's not as famous or the other one, but I'm gonna get you into some famous universities. So the first one obviously will be University of Adelaide. Okay, and that's within the group of 8. Where did it go? Okay, right there. Where is the group? University of Adelaide. It's actually right there. Right there. Okay, see that there? Okay, now it's actually the reason the reason you can actually find them is that University of Adelaide and University of South Australia, they are just right beside each other. There has been a debate and talked about merging the two universities together. But that's not what we can do here. So you can see University of South Australia. Now there are a couple campuses. There are campuses over there, and there's another one over here for University of South Australia International. But as far as the concern in the city, so Adelaide is more like how the universities in Adelaide is more structured like in Melbourne. Every single campus is all cramped up in the city. As you can see, it's not a big city. It's only that much, but everything's all in there. And there's another university called Flinders University. Here we go. It's they got other campuses there, but they also have a central campus right in the city of Adelaide. Now Adelaide does provide a lot of good cheap fruit as well. Cheap food there, very good. And the comparison of living and the accommodation wise, it's obviously considerably much cheaper than Sydney, Melbourne, and also Brisbane. And the quality of the studies that you can actually get there is actually quite good. I haven't heard anyone actually complain about Adelaide. It's only just people. If you're moving from big city to city like Adelaide, you might go, wow, why am I going to a little city there? But it actually has a lot of things over there, and obviously over the weekend, there are beautiful places to go. For instance, you might want to travel the vineyard and buy some very cheap and very good quality wine to actually have an entertain and enjoy. About an hour or two drive, you might hit yourself. Where do I go? Here, Tanunda. Okay, that's where a lot of beautiful vineyards and a lot of beautiful farming area there too. You can also see all the grape farms and all that. And there's a beautiful Barossa Chateau Tanunda there. That's the very, very famous vineyard. If you want to go there, obviously I'm not a tour guide, but I've been there, and there's a lot of other ones that you can actually go around. There's so many that I don't think you can actually finish all the vineyards in South Australia in a week. I think you probably can spend a lot more time. So if you actually have an international study life in Adelaide, I think it will be very fun in a way where you can actually visit a lot of different places there. So and that's about South Australian Adelaide. I don't know if you been there, but I think it's a very beautiful place to go. Oh, but the only disadvantage is that you probably will miss out a lot of bigger cities, city life, considering living compared to living in Adelaide. However, the quality of study and education is actually up there, and the most advantage that you actually get nowadays with visa immigration purpose, obviously, is a state nomination that I believe that no matter whatever the courses that you conduct, as long as you achieved, graduated, get a job and work, you may actually access to 190 and 491, and also the new talent innovation program they actually access. That's only open in South Australia, Adelaide. Anyhow, should you have any other question or query, more than welcome to leave a comment right down below. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye.